There's a very specific feeling you get when you settle in to watch a heartwarming, enchanted Christmas romance movie. There's likely snow outside, Christmas lights are glowing in a shop nearby, a charming little town is preparing for its annual Christmas celebration, and somewhere in the middle of it all are two people who weren't necessarily looking for love, but somehow Christmas keeps bringing them together. And as people who love to watch romance movies, we know where this is probably going. But we don't care because we want the tree lighting and we want the almost kiss under the mistletoe. And we absolutely want that moment near the end when one of them finally realizes, I don't want to leave, I want a life with you. And that's part of the emotional promise of those very popular, sparkling Christmas romance movies that people adore. But here's where many first-time romance writers sometimes get stuck. They think, okay, I'll write my story in December. I'll add snow, Christmas lights, hot chocolate, and a Christmas festival. And all those things are wonderful. But Christmas romance isn't simply regular romance with Christmas decorations added to the background. Christmas can actually become part of the structure, the conflict, the character arc, and the emotional journey of your love story. So today I'd like to walk you through 7 ideas that you can use to create that warm, hopeful Christmas romance feeling on the page. And instead of just explaining each idea, we're going to build a fictional Christmas romance together. I'm Lorna Faith and I write sweet romance books with my pen name Melody Archer. And on this YouTube channel, I simply share what I've been learning as I've been writing and self-publishing books in hopes that something that I share will help you as you write. So if you're a first-time or a struggling writer who dreams of writing heartfelt, sweet romance stories, you're definitely in the right place. And if you are eager to begin to write your very own enchanted Christmas sweet romance book that readers adore, I've created a mini course for first-time writers who are staring at a blank page feeling stuck. I'd like to show you the simple steps to write your enchanted Christmas sweet romance using the 9 beats in my plotting roadmap. And I'll also show you proven story tropes that hit the emotional romance beats that sweet romance readers crave. And you can learn how to get started at the link below this video. So let's get started on creating our fictional Christmas sweet romance today. Let's call our heroine Claire Bennett. Claire left the little mountain town of Mistletoe Creek 8 years ago and built a successful career as an event planner in Chicago. And she hasn't been home for Christmas since her mother died. But this year, Claire's grandmother has injured her ankle and needs Claire to come home temporarily to help organize the town's struggling Christmas Wishes Festival. Claire agrees, but she can only stay until December 26th. Then she's got to go straight back to Chicago. Unfortunately, the person that is running the festival with her is Luke Carter, Claire's former best friend and almost something more, the man that she left behind 8 years ago. Luke now owns his family's struggling Christmas tree farm. Claire believes that leaving Mistletoe Creek was necessary to build the life that she wanted. Luke believes that Claire has already chosen the city over everything and everyone, including their small town of Mistletoe Creek. Neither one of them plans on falling in love, but Christmas has other ideas. So let's use Claire and Luke to walk through our 7 ideas. Idea number 1. Use Christmas as a ticking clock. In other words, give your romance a Christmas deadline. One of the easiest ways to give your Christmas romance momentum is to create a deadline that's connected directly to Christmas. Perhaps the Christmas festival happens on December 23rd. Maybe the family gathers on Christmas Eve. Perhaps the heroine has to return to Chicago by December 26th. Maybe the hero has until Christmas to save his family business. Whatever you choose, Christmas gives your story something very useful, a ticking clock. And that clock can create both external and emotional pressure. Let's take a look at Claire and Luke. Claire arrives in Mistletoe Creek on December 10th, and she has already booked her return flight for December 26th. So that means she has 16 days. 16 days to rescue the Christmas Wishes Festival, and 16 days of working beside Luke, and 16 days until she leaves him again. So notice what happens as we move through the story. On December 10th, 16 days feels like plenty of time. Claire can tell herself, I'm just here to help my grandmother, and then I'm going home. But then it's December 18th, and she's already spent a week with Luke. They've laughed together, Claire has begun reconnecting with people in the town, and maybe they've just shared their first almost kiss. And now there's only 8 days left. Suddenly her departure date means something completely different. And by December 23rd, Claire has her suitcase laying open on her childhood bed, which can really become an emotional symbol, because now there are only 3 days left. And that's really how a ticking clock works really well in a Christmas romance. It's good if you can ask yourself 2 questions. What happens at Christmas that absolutely must happen? And what will my hero or heroine lose when Christmas is over? And if you can answer those 2 questions, you've probably found your Christmas countdown. Idea number 2, build your story around a shared Christmas tradition. In this way, you can let a Christmas tradition bring your couple together. In fact, a shared Christmas tradition is one of my favorite tools for writing sweet romance because it gives your hero and heroine believable reasons to spend time together. Maybe they are decorating the town Christmas tree, or baking cookies for a fundraiser, or they're running a toy drive for the children, or maybe they're building the Christmas parade float, or they're helping with the children's Christmas pageant, or perhaps they're choosing Christmas trees for families in need. But here's the important part. Try not to let the tradition stay exactly the same emotionally. Use it to show how the romance between the hero and the heroine is progressing. For Claire and Luke, let's use a tradition called the Mistletoe Creek Wishes Tree. Every December, the townspeople write a Christmas wish on a wooden star and hang it on the enormous tree in the town square. Claire and Luke have to decorate it together. The first time they are working on the tree, they are awkward. Claire is standing on a ladder, Luke steadies it, and she says, I've got it. Luke replies, you always say that right before you almost fall. And she looks down and says, I haven't changed that much. Luke smiles and says, that's debatable. It's a small moment, but there's a little bit of chemistry between them. A few chapters later, perhaps they are back at the tree hanging children's wishes. Claire reads one, I wish my dad would come home for Christmas. And suddenly the conversation becomes more vulnerable. Claire admits that after her mom died, she stopped coming home because Christmas reminded her too much of what she'd lost. Luke finally understands that maybe Claire wasn't running from him. Maybe she was running from grief. And near the end of the story, you can bring the hero and the heroine back to that same tree. Except this time, Luke has hung his own star. Claire turns it over and reads it. His wish says, one more Christmas with Claire. Now your Christmas tradition isn't just decoration. It has tracked their entire relationship. And that's something that you can try in your own story. So choose one Christmas tradition and use it at least 3 times. Early in the story, where there's a little bit of awkwardness. In the middle of the story, where they are starting to connect more. And then near the ending of your story, where there will be a little bit of emotional payoff. It's the same tradition, but the relationship has changed from the beginning to the end. Idea number 3, lean into Christmas sensory details. This is really to help readers really feel Christmas. It's important as you are writing your Christmas romance, not to tell readers that something feels Christmassy. Let them experience it by how you write the story. So instead of writing, the town square looked magical at Christmas, you could ask yourself, what does your heroine actually see? What does she hear? What does she smell or taste or feel? So if we put Claire and Luke at the Mistletoe Creek Christmas market, instead of writing, Claire walked through the beautiful Christmas market with Luke. We could write something like, snow crunched beneath Claire's boots as she followed Luke between rows of little wooden booths. Cinnamon and melted chocolate drifted from the bakery stand, and somewhere near the town square, a group of children were singing jingle bells at wildly different speeds. Luke handed her a paper cup. Hot chocolate? Claire took a sip and immediately tasted peppermint. She turned to look at him. You remembered. Luke shrugged. Some things are hard to forget. As readers, we notice what's happening here. We have snow under our heroine's boots. We can smell the cinnamon and the chocolate, and we can hear the children singing and almost taste the warm hot chocolate and the peppermint. But the sensory detail is also doing something else. It's revealing a relationship history between our hero and our heroine. Luke remembers how Claire takes her hot chocolate. And that's romantic because the Christmas detail isn't merely atmosphere anymore. It's telling Claire and the reader that Luke really does remember Claire. Whenever possible, let your sensory details do double duty. Don't just describe Christmas, but use Christmas details to reveal memory, attraction, longing, or emotional change. Idea number 4, give your heroine or hero something to come home to. Homecoming, I think, is one of the most powerful themes in a Christmas romance. But the character coming home doesn't always mean moving back to your hometown. Sometimes it's about coming back to family, to belonging, to faith, to tradition, to community, or even the person that you used to be. So let's get back to our heroine, Claire. Claire believes that she outgrew the small town of Mistletoe Creek. Now she has a successful career. She has a beautiful apartment, a busy life. But over the course of the story, we begin showing her things that she's forgotten. Perhaps her grandmother has saved her mother's Christmas ornaments. The bakery owner remembers her favorite cookie. The kids that she used to babysit years ago now bringing their own children to the festival. And Luke remembers things about Claire that nobody in Chicago knows. Then we give her a quiet scene. Maybe Claire walks into her grandmother's kitchen late one evening. Luke is helping her grandmother make Christmas cookies. Flour is everywhere. Christmas music is playing in the background. And her grandmother is laughing. Luke looks over at Claire and holds out a badly decorated gingerbread man. We saved you the ugly one, he says. Claire laughs. And then something catches inside of her because she realizes she has really missed this. Not only has she missed Christmas, and not only has she missed her hometown of Mistletoe Creek, but she misses belonging somewhere. And that's the deeper emotional homecoming. So here's a question to ask. What did my heroine leave behind that she didn't realize that she still needed? And that answer can become part of her character arc. Idea number 5, raise the emotional stakes with family and community. Your Christmas romance doesn't have to exist inside of a bubble with only your hero and your heroine. In fact, bringing in family and community can make the love story feel so much richer. Let's go back to the Christmas Wishes Festival. Maybe attendance has been declining for years. Maybe not so many of the townsfolk have been coming to the Christmas Wishes Festival in the past few years. And Luke's Christmas tree farm isn't doing well either. Then Claire discovers something. Her late mother was one of the people who originally started the Christmas Wishes Festival. Suddenly, rescuing the Christmas Wishes Festival becomes very personal to Claire. Then a winter storm damages part of the festival 3 days before opening night, and now Claire thinks there's no way we can fix this in time. But Luke starts to make phone calls. The bakery brings food, the hardware store donates lumber, teenagers string lights. Claire's grandmother organizes volunteers. Luke brings trees from his farm. And Claire looks around and finally realizes this is really what community looks like. Now something else has happened. Claire and Luke aren't simply falling in love. Now they're working together for something that they both care about. And that's really useful in a romance because love often grows most naturally when your characters aren't standing around and thinking about falling in love. They're often doing something together. So if you're struggling with ideas for what scenes to write in the middle of your Christmas romance, ask yourself, what Christmas problem could my hero and heroine solve together? And that one question can really help you write several chapters. Idea number 6. Don't skip the iconic Christmas romance moments, but put your own spin on them. Sometimes, when you're just starting to write Christmas sweet romance books, we can worry that using familiar Christmas romance scenes will make a story cliche. But readers often choose Christmas romance because they want those familiar experiences. They want things like the tree lighting, the Christmas baking, the snowfall, the gift exchange, the mistletoe, the Christmas dance, the almost kiss. So you don't necessarily need to avoid these scenes, but simply ask yourself, how can this familiar Christmas moment reveal something unique about my characters? For example, Claire and Luke are decorating the festival hall. Claire backs underneath some mistletoe, and Luke notices. Claire notices him noticing, and here comes our almost kiss. Except just as Luke steps closer, Claire's grandmother calls from across the room. Luke, if you're going to kiss my grandmother, at least turn off the glue gun first. Claire nearly drops the ornament that she's been holding, and Luke turns bright red. And Claire's grandmother casually goes back to decorating. You've used the familiar mistletoe moment, and you've given it character. Or you can think about a Christmas gift. Maybe Luke doesn't buy Claire expensive jewelry, but instead he gives her an old wooden star. And perhaps it's the first Christmas wish that Claire wrote when she was 9. And maybe her mother saved it. And on the back of it, 9-year-old Claire had written, "I wish Christmas could last forever." So now this Christmas gift connects Claire, her mother, her childhood, Christmas, and Luke. It really does connect her emotional journey coming back home. And that's how you make a familiar trope feel personal. So the question isn't, has somebody written a Christmas gift scene before? Instead, ask yourself, why could this gift only belong in my hero and heroine's story? And that's where your story becomes very original. Idea number 7. Let your ending feel like a gift. In other words, give them more than a simple kiss at the ending of your story. Your Christmas romance ending should resolve the love story, but ideally it also resolves the deeper emotional journey that you've been building since chapter 1 of your book. So let's go back to Claire's original plan. She was going to go back to Chicago on December 26th. Christmas was going to be over and she's leaving. And so here we are. Maybe we are at Christmas Eve. And the festival has gone well. And the Christmas wishes tree is glowing. And families fill the town square. So Claire really should be happy. Instead, she's looking over at Luke and realizing that tomorrow everything they've built together ends. Luke believes that she's already made her choice, so he lets her go. But this is where Claire has to complete her character arc. Maybe earlier in the story, Claire ran away from painful things. And maybe this time, she finally chooses to do that a little bit differently. Maybe Luke is closing up the tree farm on Christmas morning when Claire shows up. He looks over at her. "I thought you had a flight." "I did." "You did?" Claire holds up one of the wooden wishing stars. Apparently, somebody made a Christmas wish. Luke recognizes his star. One more Christmas with Claire. Claire turns it over. On the back, she has written, "How about all of them?" And now she tells Luke, "I spent 8 years thinking leaving meant I've moved forward, but somewhere along the way, I forgot that sometimes moving forward means knowing what you're willing to come back for." And this is when Luke steps closer and maybe he asks, "Are you staying?" And Claire smiles and nods, "Yes, I'm staying." And this would be the place in your Christmas story where you give your readers the Christmas kiss that they've been waiting for. So notice what we've done in this story. The ending isn't simply they kiss, the end. Claire gives Luke something, her choice, and Luke's Christmas wish is answered. Claire completes her emotional homecoming, and the Christmas countdown reaches its destination. And the Christmas wishes tree pays off something that we planted earlier in the story. And that's really what makes an ending to your Christmas romance satisfying. Several different story threads come together in one emotional moment. But here's something to remember. Don't let Christmas replace your love story. So you can have details like snow and cookies and Christmas trees and mistletoe and hot chocolate and a Christmas festival and a charming small town. But you can still have a story that can feel maybe a little bit boring. But why is that? Because your Christmas atmosphere cannot replace character conflict. Your hero and your heroine still need emotional reasons why falling in love is difficult for them. In our story example, Claire fears that choosing the small town of Mistletoe Creek means giving up the independent life that she worked so hard to create. Luke fears trusting Claire again because he's convinced that she'll leave. Those fears collide. Christmas simply creates the environment that keeps bringing them together until they're forced to confront those beliefs. And that's really the difference between Christmas decorations and a Christmas love story. So if you've been dreaming about writing your own sparkling and enchanted Christmas romance, let's just recap those 7 ideas. Idea number 1, give your story a Christmas ticking clock. Idea number 2, choose a shared Christmas tradition that brings your hero and heroine closer together. Idea number 3, use sensory details that allow your reader to really experience Christmas. Idea number 4, create an emotional homecoming, not simply a physical one. Idea number 5, use family and community to raise the stakes and naturally bring your couple together. Idea number 6, give readers those iconic Christmas romance moments, but make the details personal to your characters. And idea number 7, create an ending that feels like a gift, where the romantic resolution and emotional character arc come together. And here's a simple writing exercise. Maybe it'll help as you are writing your Christmas romance. Take out a piece of paper and answer these 7 questions. And I really think it'll help you to flesh out your Christmas sweet romance story. Number 1, what Christmas deadline is approaching? Number 2, what Christmas tradition will my couple share? Number 3, what 3 sensory details make my setting feel uniquely Christmas? Number 4, what does my hero or heroine emotionally need to come home to? Number 5, what family or community problem can bring them together? Number 6, what familiar Christmas romance moment can I make uniquely theirs? And number 7, what emotional gift will one character give the other at the ending of the story? You don't need your entire novel figured out today. If you start with answering those 7 questions, you'll be well on your way. Because once you know the Christmas deadline, the tradition, the emotional homecoming, the community stakes, and the ending that you're writing towards, you might discover that you've already have the beginnings of your entire Christmas love story. I'm curious, what Christmas tradition would you love to build a Christmas romance around? Would it be a Christmas tree farm? Would it be a town festival? Christmas baking? A holiday inn? A Christmas pageant? Or something completely different? I'd love to hear about the Christmas love story that you're dreaming up. If you want to write your answers in the comments, I'll be sure to read them and get back to you. And if you're eager to begin writing your Christmas sweet romance, but aren't sure what story tropes you would like to use, this video will help. 10 sweet romance tropes that keep readers turning the pages. Watch that video next. I'll see you there.